Hello and welcome to my channel, The Curious Coder. Today we'll be talking about a very simple yet important Java topic, wrapper classes in Java. Now it's a basic concept, but trust me, a lot of questions are asked around this in interviews. And the problem is, students often don't know what exactly to prepare. Okay, so in this video, I'll tell you what all you should know under wrapper classes and some important terms like autoboxing and unboxing that you must keep in mind before interviews. Now before jumping into wrapper classes, let me ask you a very simple question. Is Java completely object oriented? Yes or no? So the answer is no, because Java contains primitive data types like byte, short, int, long. Okay, and these are not objects. They are simple values. So technically, Java cannot be called 100% object oriented. Okay, but Java gives us a way to convert these primitive data types into objects. And that's exactly where wrapper classes come in. So for every primitive data type, there exists a corresponding wrapper class. Okay, so for byte, there is a class byte with capital B. Similarly, for short, there is another class short. For int, there is integer. For long, there is long. For float, there is a class float with capital F. Similarly, for double also, there is a class double. For char, there is character. And for boolean, there is boolean. Okay. Now the obvious question, if primitives already work fine, then why do we need wrapper classes? We need them because some features in Java like collections, generics, or some method parameters do not accept primitives. Okay, they only work with objects. Also, wrapper classes have some utility methods inside them, which we use a lot in our daily coding life. Okay, so let's look at these classes in the code and understand what all features they have to offer. So let's first start with how to convert a primitive data type into an object. Okay, so let's say I have an int variable, int a is equal to 10, and I want to convert this primitive data type into an object. Okay, so how can I do this? I'll use the wrapper class integer. Alright, integer obj. I'll try to create an object of this class, and for that I will use this method Integer.valueOf. Okay, and here I will pass this variable a. Like this. Alright, so value of is a static method in this integer class. It takes primitive as the argument and it returns the integer object. Okay, so this is how we can convert a primitive data type into an integer class, basically into its wrapper class. Okay, so this process is called boxing. Okay, you should know this term because sometimes in interview they directly just ask you that what is boxing and what is unboxing. And if you don't know this term, then you might get lost, like what they are trying to ask. But in reality, you can see that it's a very simple concept. Okay, just converting a primitive data type into an object. Alright, so this is called boxing. And you can see that there is a warning that is there that says unnecessary boxing. Okay, so why is that? Because instead of doing it like this, we could have done it in a simpler way. And that is integer obj, let's call it obj1 is equal to a. Simply like this. Okay, so the compiler converts the primitive data type into its object automatically. Okay, it automatically performs this boxing process, and that is why this is called autoboxing. Alright, so when you call the integer.valueOf and you convert it like this, then it's called boxing. But if you directly just write the variable here and convert it into its object, then it's called autoboxing. Okay, now let's say you want to convert it back to the primitive data type. Alright, so how can we do that? Again, that is also very simple. What I'll do is I'll just take another variable int x, let's say, and this one is the integer variable, integer object. So I will just call this method int value. Alright. So this is another static method, not a static method. This is another method in this integer class, which you can call using the object of this class. So I just called this method and it returns a primitive data type. Okay, it returns the primitive value of your object. Alright, so you can save this in this primitive variable. Okay, now this process is called unboxing. Okay, so like this was boxing and this is the reverse of it. So it's called unboxing. And like this was manual boxing and this was auto boxing, Similarly, this is manual unboxing. Alright, now again, if you could guess it right, you can see that we can directly also convert it like this. Int y is equal to obj1. Okay, we didn't need to call this method. Compiler will do it on its own, and this process is called auto unboxing. Okay, so we have boxing, autoboxing, unboxing, and auto unboxing. Alright, so now let's see some of the utility methods that I was talking about. These are some methods that we use in our day-to-day coding, and these are very helpful to us. Okay, so first let's say we have a string. Let's say string number is equal to 10. Okay, it's a string value, and I want to convert this string value into an integer value. Alright, so how can I do that? So for that we have a utility method, basically a method inside integer class, Integer.valueOf. Okay, so as you can see, we use value of here. So in value of we can pass a primitive data type, and we can also pass a string value. Okay, so I will use this one, string value, and I will pass number over here, and this method will return me an integer object. Okay, so this is how we can convert a string into an integer. Alright, so I'll just save it in some variable. Let's say obj2, like this. Okay, similarly we also have a method parseInt. Okay, this also converts a string into integer, and what it does is, the difference is that it will convert it into a primitive data type. Okay, let's call it int z. Yeah, so this is also a method inside integer class. It takes string as the parameter, but it converts it back into int. Okay, not integer. Alright, so these are two methods. Then we have int value, as we already saw, that it converts the object into its primitive data type. Alright, so this is also another method inside this class. Then let's say we want to convert an integer into a string. Okay, so we have this integer obj2, and let's say I want to convert it into a string. So for that also we have a method which is toString method. Alright, so this method will convert it back into a string. So any integer can be converted into string like this. Very simple process. Okay, so string number 1 is equal to, let's call this, yeah. Okay, so string number 1 is equal to obj2.toString. Alright, so we had this object, and using this object we called the toString method, and it got converted back to string. Alright, now you can observe that like there was this z as well, and if I try to call z.toString, it won't work. Okay, because this z is a primitive data type, it's a primitive variable, right? Because int is a primitive data type. But for obj2 it will work because it's an object. Okay, so this is the benefit of using these wrapper classes. They have certain methods which we can use, which help us a lot. Okay, it's so easy to convert it into string and convert it back into integer. Alright, then we have some more methods as well. There is a compare to method. Okay, so let's say I'll just remove all this, it's a bit chaotic now. I'll simply take like this integer. Let's say there are two integer variables, integer i1 is equal to this, and integer i2 is equal to, and let's not even call integer.valueOf, let's just use them directly. Okay, 10 and 20. We'll do the auto boxing. Alright, so we have two of them. Now there is a method compare to. What it does it, you can just call i1.compareTo, and in the argument you will pass another integer. Okay, so it's basically comparing these two integers with each other. So let me just print this, system.out.println. Yeah. Alright, so you will see that it returns -1. Okay, so this means that i1 is less than i2, because we called it like this, i1.compare to i2. So -1 means that i1 is less than i2. Let's say it would have been 30. Now it's returning 1. This means i1 is greater than i2. Okay, and let's say both are 20. Now it will return 0. So 0 means that both are exactly the same. Okay, So let me make it 10 again. Yeah. Similarly, we have I1 dot, we have a sum method as well. Okay. And we have max and min methods as well. So let me show all these one by one. First, let me call Integer.max. So I can pass these two in it, I1 and I2. And let me print this. Turn.out.println. So it will just it will just tell you which one is the maximum among these two. Okay, so if I call this, great. So this returns -1 and this will return 20 because 20 is the greater one among these two. Okay, similarly, we also have Integer.min and this will tell you the minimum one, alright, which is 10. And we can also use Integer.sum and this will just add these two integer values and you will get the result. Alright, so we have these many utility methods inside it, and we also have some fields inside it, like I'll show you. We have Integer.max value. Okay, this is a static final field in this class integer, and this is the maximum value of which is there in the integer, which is present in any integer. Okay, you can see that max value is this. So you might have used this a lot when you try to solve your data structure problems. You might have seen this Integer.max value, and similarly we have Integer.min value. So these are basically predefined and you can directly use them. Okay, min value is the least value which is there. Okay, -214. So let me print these as well. Okay, so this is the max value of an integer and this is the minimum value of an integer. Alright, so these are some important methods, some utility functions and utility variables that are there in this class, and we often use them daily. Okay, so that's why Java has provided a wrapper class as well, so that it's easy for us to write code. Okay, and there was one more reason. At some places you cannot even use int directly. Okay, they have not allowed you to use int. Okay, for example, inside a list, let's say if you want to create a list, so this list is equal to new array list. Okay, so here you have to tell that what is the type of this list. Okay, so let's say you want to create a list of int. Okay, list of an integer. So if you'll try to give it like this, it won't work. Okay, it will give an error that type argument cannot be of a primitive type. Okay, so here you will have to use integer. Alright, like this. See, there is no error now. Okay, so that is why at some places in Java there is mandatory to use these wrapper classes. Hence, that is also one more reason for having these classes. Okay, and let's say if I add some values, list.add 2. Okay, so you can see that I am directly adding int values here. Okay, I'm not creating an integer object and adding it specifically. I'm just adding int values. So actually whenever you do list.add, again Java does auto-boxing. Okay, it automatically does the boxing and it automatically converts this int into this integer. Okay, and there is another example. Let's say we have a set. So here also, if I'll try to have an int value like this, okay, new hash set, it won't work. Okay, because again primitive data type does not work here. Alright, so here also I will have to take it like integer. And by the way, these are the generics, like these two arrows, this and this, these are called generics. So if you go to the list interface, here they have defined these generics. So in these generics, you have to pass what is the type of the list. Okay, whether it's a list of integer or a list of double or a list of string. So in these generics, as I was saying, you cannot use primitive data types. Okay, so in set also, you will see that you will have to use integer. And if you'll add something here, again, you can directly add an int value. Compiler will automatically do the boxing logic. Okay, so I hope you understood what wrapper classes are. And as you can see, it's a very simple topic, but still it's asked a lot in interviews. And if you have not heard about wrapper classes or this boxing, auto-boxing, unboxing, then you might not be able to answer this question. Okay, so I hope you liked the video, and if you want more videos on Java core interview concepts, then please stay tuned and subscribe to my channel, The Curious Coder. Okay.